Now let's go back to our earlier story where 4 passengers are feared dead and over 30 others in critical condition after a road accident Tuesday dawn on the Nasia Bridge near Wale in the northeast region. The commercial vehicle was loaded with 45 passengers traveling from Kumasi to Boku. And our correspondent Ilyasu Tanko was at the scene and reports the vehicle was mangled beyond recognition. He joins us on Zoom from the hospital. Ilyasu, are you at the Wale hospital? If you are, tell us how the resident or the hospital, I beg your pardon, is coping with treating those who are critically injured.
Well, yes, Benny, I'm currently at the Wale Government Hospital, and you can see in our shots is the medical superintendent here, and he's going to tell us how the hospital is managing this particular case. Doc, good morning, welcome to JoyNews. Talk to us about how you're handling this particular accident victims that continue to troop in this particular facility.
Yes, at about 4 a.m. this morning, we started getting casualties from the accident scene, and a total of 21 victims have been brought. Just a few of them are seriously injured. Currently, we have managed most of them. We are stable. It's only true that we are preparing to send to TTH for further management. They have sustained their injuries are quite serious, and we need to send them, stabilize them, after that we send them further management.
How many casualties or fatalities that you have in your hospital?
For the, I think, like I said, there are 21, those who are in this room. There are 21 who were brought in. 2 of them are severely injured. And I think we had about, at our morgue now, we have 5 dead bodies, 3 adults and 2 kids. So that is the situation.
So, Benis, as you can hear, that is the medical superintendent of the hospital. The nurse manager at the hospital talking to us about how the hospital is handling this particular case. I must say that the hospital, the emergency ward where I'm currently standing is full capacity. I understand some of the victims have moved to other wards, and you can see a lot of nurses, at least a dozen of them, standing and offering treatment to these victims that have been brought here.
Ilyasu, quickly and briefly, do we know what caused the accident?
Well, what we do know is that the driver says he was suddenly crossed by a group or herd of roaming cattle. But when I went to the scene, the passengers who survived dispute this particular account. They insist that the driver on multiple times were warned that he was sleeping while driving. And so they believe that as a result of the sleep driving that the driver was doing that caused this particular accident. But like I said, authorities are still at the scene trying to clear the vehicle in the first place, and then subsequently they will be able to tell us exactly what caused this particular accident.
You sent us videos showing a gridlock on the Tamale-Bolga highway. What's the current situation?
Well, the situation there is a gridlock situation. There are a lot of cars that have parked there. Before I left there, the authorities or the rescuers actually were able to create a small path. And so before I left there, I saw vehicles that were coming from the Bolga section of the road able to cross, but those that are coming from Tamale are still parked there. And a lot of traffic is currently building up on that busiest transportation corridor.
Ilyasu, we understand there was a bit of struggle for the ambulance service to reach the victims.
Benny's, please come again.
I'm talking about how quickly the ambulance service was able to reach the victims.
Well, that's the concern that authorities of this facility are also raising. They said the accident happened somewhere 3, but the victims started coming here in around 4 p.m. And so that's about an hour and a half interval before the arrival of the victims. But where the incident happened is just 20 kilometers from Wale Wale, where the hospital is currently. But what we are able to learn is that when the incident happened, when they called the ambulance service here in Wale Wale, the response that they got was that the vehicle is faulty and will not be able to move. And so as a result of that, the police who were at the scene were compelled to use their vehicle and other trucks to convey the vehicle from the scene to the hospital. And so it was until when they called the ambulance service from Sapulugu, which is about 60 kilometers away from the incident, that's when the vehicle also came and helped convey the victims to the hospital. It's really a serious situation. When I went there, we understand some of the victims even fell in the river as well. And so, like I said, authorities are still there trying to clear the road and also ensure free flow of vehicular movement.
I'll end this pretty shortly, but you mentioned something entering the river. I didn't get that.
Benny's coming again.
I'm saying that you mentioned something entering the river. Do you mean mangled vehicle? What exactly were you saying there?
Yes, I'm saying that the authorities also, that some of the rescuers actually found some of the victims in the river. They retrieved some dead bodies from the river. And so it means that when the accident happened, some of the victims actually fell in the river, just over the bridge, they fell in the river. And so I'm saying that some of the victims were retrieved from the water as well. All
right, we'll leave it here. Elias Tanko is our correspondent in the Northeast region, giving us updates on that unfortunate incident that happened around 3 a.m., we understand, in the wee hours of Tuesday.